everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna. If you're new, if you're a returner, or someone who's a subscriber, someone who's watched before and you're subscribed, welcome back. Today I am doing a review on the Too Faced foundation, the Born This Way foundation that recently extended its shade range. It didn't mess with the formula, it just extended the shades to be more inclusive of deeper skin tones, which is amazing because, well, I'll get right into that after we start the review. But two things. One, this won't always be my background. It's just that I don't have my, I got a backdrop and I don't have it set up right now. So I'm just filming here because it's convenient for this video. And secondly, my daughter is down here playing. So if you hear her, that's her. But if you're interested in knowing more about this foundation, how it wears, and all that good stuff, then just keep watching this video. So, I forgot to mention too, this vanity was supposed to be like adult size and my husband ordered it in the wrong size. So we're just gonna keep it for London and mommy will deal with her. I have my own backdrop and all that stuff, so we're good. But I do use her vanity for now just to store my makeup. I just had to say that because if you're like, that looks pretty small, it's because it is. But we're gonna get right into this foundation review. This is actually my first time trying this foundation because, like I said, they recently expanded their shade range. And what I was mentioning at the beginning of this video, I actually used to work at Sephora, and I remember certain brands like swatching makeup while I was in the store when it was dead, and certain brands not having my shade, or let alone anything deeper, or what they did have looked like it wouldn't work on my skin tone. So it is amazing that Jackie Aina worked with Too Faced to extend the shade range and be more inclusive of deeper and darker skin tones. And I know that there's a lot of makeup brands that don't cater to anything past maybe myself, or maybe a couple shades deeper than that, and that is not okay. And even on the paler sides of things, you know, they don't always have pale shades, but it's not, I know being a black woman, that it's not always been easy to find a shade in every single brand. And I'm so glad that so many brands are working to change that, because it should have been changed a long time ago, honey. But if you've never tried this foundation like myself, for whatever reason it may be, this was my first time trying it. Now, I didn't demo putting it on because this is actually my third time trying this foundation. I wanted to be able to give a more in-depth review, and I feel like if I hadn't worn it but once, I wouldn't be able to really give my opinion or really speak to how it wore, because it would be only one time. And I have tried it with a primer and with Matte Fix Plus first. I'm sorry if the camera moves, it's my daughter. But I have tried it with a primer and then Matte Fix Plus, and then so I just kind of want to be able to speak to it from different aspects, and haven't worn it more than once. So in this video, I'm going to include a check-in specifically from wearing it today, because I was outside. I was walking around outside at one of the little outside malls here, and I actually, I've had it on since 10 o'clock this morning. So I wanted to include check-ins in this video. Haven't done my last check-in yet, but I did record a check-in about an hour ago, and it still looked phenomenal in my opinion. And right now I'm filming and I think it looks pretty good. By the way, this is what the foundation looks like. This is the packaging my daughter is playing with, but it comes in this pretty pink packaging that says Too Faced Born This Way. It's a medium to full coverage foundation, and it's oil free, and the shade that I am in is Chai. It is, I believe, golden undertone. Let me see if it's on the box. I believe on the website it said that it was a deep dark golden undertone, and I believe it was a deep dark golden undertone, but I'm not exactly sure, so I would have to look it up. But on the box it says that it's hydrating, long wearing, photo friendly, non-comedogenic. It's 100% have said that this foundation blurred their imperfections. 100% said this foundation made their skin look absolutely perfect. and 90% said the foundation provided natural coverage, and it's infused with coconut water, alpine rose, and hyaluronic acid, which is amazing for your skin. So those are all great skin benefits. And first time, let me tell you about my first time wearing it, so I'll just go into details about that. So putting it on at first, it's definitely, to me, medium to full coverage. The first time I wore it as medium coverage, and I didn't attempt to build it up. And then the second time and today, I wore it as more full coverage, so it is buildable in my opinion. Also, the first time I wore it, I used a primer. And then the second and third time I wore it, I actually ran out of primer and needed to pick some up. So I just used my MAC Fix Plus, and then I powdered that down before applying my foundation. So it's kind of the Jackie Aina tactic of setting your primer. So I kind of used that, even though I used MAC Fix Plus as my primer, which I think you can use. It's prep and prime technically, so I use that. Both times I feel like the first time I wore it, I feel like the wear wasn't as long as it's been the second and third time, because the primer that I used was more silicone based, and I don't remember, I didn't read the ingredients. The last time I wore this foundation and today I wore it more full coverage, and I am enjoying it. I am a little bit oily around my nose and a little bit in my T-zone, but one, I usually get oily there no matter what primer I have, unless it's a super matte primer, and two, I have not touched up, and then also it's normal for me to get oily in these areas, so I am due for a touch up in those areas, but I just haven't yet because I wanted to film this video first. So we'll see. I'm going to touch up after I film this, and then my last check-in, I'll speak to that. But yeah, so far so good. It's been lasting all day. I've worn this, I've had this on since 10 o'clock this morning. The first time I put it on, I want to say it was 6 o'clock in the morning because I was getting ready for church, and I had it on all day. So, yes, so the first time I wore it, I put it on at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and the second and third time it's been both like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I will be able to speak to this foundation based on an all-day experience with it. And like I said, so far I am really loving it. I haven't had any issues with it separating. I usually, if a foundation separates on me, it's around my smile lines, because I have smile lines, and that's usually where it'll separate. Sometimes right here in this area is where a foundation will separate on me and on my chin, and I have not experienced that with this foundation. So far this foundation is amazing. I can't remember if it's supposed to be a matte or dewy foundation. Let me check. So it is supposed to be a hydrating foundation, so I think it would be more dewy. It's definitely not matte. It's more skin-like for me, in my personal opinion. Now, I haven't read on the website, so it might state it more clearly, but it does say on the box that it's a hydrating foundation, and I do feel like it is on the more hydrating side, definitely not matte, and it's more skin-like foundation, which I do enjoy in my foundations, especially because I am more normal with a little bit of oiliness in my T-zone, and then my skin has changed. I used to be dry, and then when I was pregnant I was oily, and now I'm more normal with just oily in my T-zone. So I experiment with my foundations, and I'll wear dewy, matte, pretty much anything, just to see what works with my skin, because it has changed so much since before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after. I apologize, I keep saying but yeah, I have not had any issues with separation. I haven't had any issues with it breaking down since I didn't use a silicone-based primer. And like I said, I'm not exactly 100% sure if that had anything to do with it that time, but I have not had those issues the second and third time wearing it. It has been lasting me all day. Like I said, I've had this on since 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's about 4 something right now. I'm not exactly sure what time it is, but it's like 4 something. And you'll get my exact time stamps in my check-in, so you'll know what time it is and how long I've had it on, and I will go to that on my last check-in, and I'll put that last check-in at the end of this video. So I would definitely recommend this foundation. My last check-in will basically be showing you how it looks and how it goes, how it looks even how it looks wearing it even longer in the day, but already this is my 3rd time wearing it. I've got great experience with it and I like it a lot. It's a skin-like dewy, not dewy, but skin-like beautiful hydrating finish, and it doesn't feel, I can't feel it on my skin. It feels like skin, which is amazing. I don't feel the foundation on top of my skin. It just works amazing. The concealer I paired it with today was Maybelline Age Rewind. I've paired it with the ColourPop concealer. I'm just going to try out different concealers and see how it works with it, but so far those two, it's been amazing. And yeah, I haven't had any issues with it. I like it a lot. I think this is a home run. I really enjoy this foundation, and I am so happy that I have my shade and I could try this foundation. It's definitely going to be a go-to foundation for me. I'm going to wrap this video up because my daughter is getting cranky. I'll put my check-in at the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was informative and helps you out if you're deciding on getting this foundation. See you later. Bye. So it is now 3:27. I'm talking in whisper tones because London's asleep in our room and my daughter, and the door is open, but it is 3:27. We just got back from being out and about, even outside, because we went to a mall that's outside. I've had this on since 10 o'clock. I'm standing in front of like my ring light right now so you can see up close and personal, and then I'm going to turn this off and get in front of natural light so you can see how it looks with natural light too. But so far so good. It's pretty holding up pretty well, and it's doing pretty well. I'm just kind of looking at myself, checking myself out and seeing everything looks put together. So now I'm going to switch to natural light. And yeah, it still looks really good. I'm a little bit oily around my nose, but I get oily there anyway, where no matter what foundation I'm wearing, if I don't put the right primer on, which I explained earlier in the video about primer, and I'm a little bit oily on the other side of my nose, and my T-zone gets a little bit oily, but I highlight there too, so that's really what causes it to be a little bit off. But yeah, so far so good. So we will check in one more time, and then at the end, when I do the full review, I will let you know my thoughts. Okay, so it is now 6 o'clock at night. I have had, or 6 o'clock in the evening, not at night. I've had this makeup on for 8 hours now, so I'm getting ready to take it off just because I'm done with wearing it. I've taken lots of pictures and I've done a video in it, so we documented it, the greatness. You guys ever feel like you gotta document it when you do a good look? But everything still looks really good, including the eyeshadow. I know this wasn't about the eyeshadow, but I forgot to powder earlier because I got busy with my daughter, so I still have a little bit of oiliness around my nose, but other than that, it still looks pretty good. There's no separation. I have a little bit of creasing in my smile lines, but that's normal for me just because I smile a lot and I have foundation that settles there if I'm not intentional about packing that area with primer. And yeah, like I said earlier in my review, I knew I was gonna love this foundation. I love it a lot. I've worn it more than once. Today I had it on 8 hours. So really liking it, really a big fan of it, and I do recommend this. If you guys want to try it out, definitely try it out because I feel like it's a great foundation, and this is after 8 hours and I feel like it's phenomenal. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.